confused because you said you went to watch Australia versus England. I was thinking, oh, he's watching cricket at night time. Wait, that doesn't make sense. I was like super confused. But no, you're just watching football. You're friendly, yeah?
Yeah, it was football. It was fucking shit.
Did you boo Jordan Henderson, Pat?
No, I was trying to work out why he was getting booed.
Because he's a mercenary pig.
That's literally every footballer these days, so I'd be
No,
booing
but
everyone.
no, it's different, man. It's different because if you spent your career saying, well, wearing the rainbow laces and saying that you're a champion of LGBT plus people in sport and whatever, and then you go to Saudi Arabia and say it's their prerogative to behead them and whatever, then no, that's different.
Okay, I thought it was something more like along of like Rice. All right, it's like, oh no, who's betrayed your team? No, that's way worse. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. No, it's really bad because obviously everyone's been like, oh, this is really bad, Jordan Henderson, and his response. I mean, I am being flippant with what I said, but his response was basically like, oh, you have to respect people's views and whatever. And it's like, well, no, not if their view is that certain people shouldn't exist.
Well, I left when it was quite innocuous, and someone was being called a big dog.
I can't even remember much from yesterday. Like, I got really bored watching the game, so I was like, I'm just going to record this free kick, and then that was the only sequence of play we scored from. So I was like, sweet, that got me a lot of TikTok views.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it didn't seem like much of an out and out game.
Well, we played an entirely second team.
Yeah.
The only sort of first team regulars that played was Trent and Grealish was fucking garbage.
How was it?
Yeah, he was terrible.
Hey, someone at my work fancies Grealish, and she has a life-size cutout of him.
They announced his name
hole somewhere.
They announced his name twice, and the stadium roared with approval. And I'm like, man, you need to get over his legs.
That's what my co-worker said about herself.
It's literally like more women now go to England's men's games because they like looking at Jack Grealish. Some of them are up in the gods. How are they going to get a good view of him from there?
Yeah, it's funny how he's become like I don't know. He's a bit like a modern day Beckham in a way, isn't he?
I got a bit brave yesterday on the way though. So at Wembley Station, there was a bunch of Australians there chanting in the middle of the England fans, and one of them said, "We're here in Wembley, England. The weather's shit. The team is shit." And I said, "Yeah, a bit like your rugby and cricket teams, isn't it?" And there's a bunch of people going, "Oh shit!" But they all. I was like, well, that's disappointing. I didn't even get a retort.
If it turned, you could have just been like, "I know, Ebony, fuck off." That are scattered like roaches.
They scattered anyway.
Yeah. That's how skittish they is.
The funny thing is, they all sounded English.
Yeah.
So maybe they're just what Rob's going to be at the Euros.
To
be
fair, plastic Scotsman.
Just man, I find it very difficult to cheer on a team that's managed and captained by two people who are happy to be voted with Rishi Sunak.
Anyway, this week's film was about mice. Both of them.
One was great.
Agreed.
Decide which one we're talking about.
I think they're both great.
Yeah.
Simon, do you want to steer the conversation away from politics? Do you want to go back to?
It's kind of hard because one of them is quite political. I mean, I don't think Rishi Sunak would like one of these particular films, or
I think,
you know.
His opinion might have changed from early in his life to like late in his life.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's what money does to you.
So
he might have identified with young Fievel at one point, then later on he'd gone fucking scrounger. running around my city being lost. Fuck
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
He
but
would-
some
he
of
would
the-
have
Working
claimed
finance.
he would have claimed he bought 5 or something from McDonald's that hadn't been on the menu for 10 years.
Yeah, and now
Sorry.
Do you just say how he went from Fievel to Ratigan, Ben?
Well, that's what I mean. He kind of like he's like Furble, nah, Ratigan, nah, that's a guy I can get behind. Is he?
Hey now, Ratigan's clever.
Yeah, okay. Yes, there he is. But okay. So, chose these because I completely forgot. I had a double bill. I had to think of something that I had on my list. This was on my list beforehand. And I was like,
How did you draw the lines between these two? I'm very curious.
it just, oh no, I mean, no, these
Is it a
two
long
films were on my list, but it was just like, it's Halloween. And they're like, I didn't want to, well, it's not really Halloween yet. But it's like the month of beginning to Halloween. So it's like, do I want to do actually a scary film or like a creepy film? But when it's like you guys have your films already set up and chosen, I'm like, I don't really want to do a scary film as well. Then I was like, I guess what's considered scary or creepy? I was like, but I don't really want to do something that's scary and creepy. But it's like, oh wait, critters or like mice are like scary, but I don't want a scary mice. And I was like, I've got cute mice. These are cute mice. These are just cute mice. I didn't want to do scary mice like Mickey. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, Mickey Mouse, the most evilest mouse in the world.
Yeah, he is pretty evil.
Yeah, but like in any case, I was like, oh yeah, let's choose some like animated mice characters, and I was like, these two are like childhood favorites of ours. I think most of us have probably watched at least one or both of them, like in our childhood. So it's like, this is a good choice. I'll choose this. I think you guys said the score was Basil beat Fievel like by 0.1 point, right? As total scores, I think.
8.5 and 8.4.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, okay. I kind of wanted to see what your guys' opinions on each one would be like, on which ones did you enjoy watching more. So I think as we collectively have put in our points, I guess the Great Mouse Detective won by 0.1 points. That's I don't know. Do you guys agree?
And congratulations, Simon. You are now tied last place with Emmanuel for your overall average. Well done.
Oh.
Well, actually,
all time, you and Emmanuel are now fighting for 5th place with averages of 7.3 overall.
I mean, next year that'll just drop. Don't worry.
Can't wait to see how it all shakes out, mate.
Mate, if I just pick a couple of animals, as you call them, you and Pat would just like drop my scores easily. So
Well,
we'll see
I
how
don't
it
know.
goes.
I'm a bit more accepting.
Yes, okay, that's true. But like, if I choose a couple
video
of
game animals, yeah, there we go.
Video game
Fucking
animals, you're out of fuck, mate. It's not happening.
yeah,
If you
no,
pick
no, no. I
anything
think
Dragon Ball related, 10s across the board, except the live action film.
it doesn't
You said it
exist.
now,
It
man.
doesn't
You
exist.
said anything.
But yeah, I chose these two films because I think they're quite nice films. I used to watch as a kid. I admittedly watched the second An American Tale more because I had it on VHS. It's the one where he's a cowboy. I feel like I like that one more because I watched it more, but I still enjoyed the first one quite a lot.
In
So-
Fievel Goes West.
Yeah, Five Goes West, yeah. So
No, actually, I was going to share it with you guys, but I found a VHS copy of An American Tale on the Internet Archive.
oh damn. Is it like got like extended scenes or like
No,
uncut
it's literally
scenes?
just a rip of the old VHS of it. So it even started with like MCA home video and yeah,
Oh, cool. So
like
it's
it was
just-
terrible quality, but it was quite nice to watch.
Oh, is that how you watched it?
I watched it once like that, yeah.
I
Wait,
guess
Multiple times this time?
Yeah, I watched it. I always try and watch them twice. But I thought, seeing as I found it on VHS, it would be nice to get a bit of nostalgia from it.
Yeah, just see the grainy screens and stuff.
Yeah, exactly, and like the wobbly.
The wobbliness, yes. I guess actually, no, there's a question for Emmanuel.
Yep,
Why?
That's the
What?
good
Oh,
shit. It's the wobbly.
why was the American Tail got like that weird like sub headline for you when you watched it on Apple TV? Isn't that like?
It's because
Not
Apple
the
TV
correct-
is trash.
I mean, yeah, for this case, yeah, because like, isn't it just called An American Tail? Isn't like there's like subtitles
It
for
is.
the subsequent sequels? Isn't
Yeah,
I thought I was so worried that you was watching like one of the sequels. I'm like, oh no, he's gonna watch one of the
It makes
not
no
so good
sense.
yeah.
Honestly, I think it's what I said earlier. It's just because the sequels had a subtitle, they decided to retroactively go back and add a subtitle to the first one, like they did. George Lucas did with Star Wars. Suddenly became Star Wars: A New Hope, so it fits in with the chronology. But in this case, it doesn't. It doesn't need it. So, and everyone's confused. Like Emmanuel would be like, which one is the first one?
Not only does it not need it, as Rob said, it doesn't seem to refer to anything.
No,
That's
Yeah,
it
what
doesn't make
was
sense.
the heading? Was it like the monster in the night or something?
The mystery of the
Mystery-
night monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
What,
The
what
mys-
was
no,
that?
hang on. It's the Mystery Night of the Monster.
Yeah, is it the mouse from Minsk or what? I mean, that doesn't even come into play in the last 20 minutes, so it can't be that.
And it's not a mystery.
I
Yeah.
feel like it'd be a bit like the chat yesterday if we ever get to question the person who named it, because I'm sure they'd just be like, "Well, I must have missed something. I'm sorry."
Mhm. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
man,
Okay.
maybe
Okay. I guess that's the only thing to say about.
when they renamed it.
But you did watch the right film, right? You did watch you did watch the right film. You didn't watch the wrong film, or did you watch the sequels? Or all the sequels on there as well? You watched them as well.
It had the song.
I only watched the first one.
Okay,
I
good.
didn't-
That's fine. That's fine. It's
Like-
like
I'm sure this is the right one, but why has it got this extra title? Like all of them are like this. I'm so confused.
but as long as you watch the right one, it's fine. Or you didn't watch like the TV series.
There's
Yeah,
a
no.
TV series.
Yeah,
Oh no, Ben! Contain yourself, Ben.
it was like if I
I don't think
remember,
I
I
saw
watched it like it was like a Saturday morning cartoon, like set of TV series, and it's like I just remember seeing it on like Sky TV once. I was like, oh, this an American Tale TV series. I was just like watching the episode, and I was like, that's kind of shit, but like okay. but it's an American Tale. What do you want? It's like the kid characters are acting like kids, and like there's like a thing of the week, and it's just like yeah, sure, whatever. So, I guess that's the introduction for me. How about you guys? How did you find these two childhood classics?
I loved it, man. I think the Great Mouse Detective. Like, I do have fun with it, but it literally is just like animated Sherlock in it. So it's like I don't know. Like, I like it, but I can see how it kind of got forgotten compared to like other Disney stuff that was coming around the same time. Because like when you think this was only like a few years before Disney did like sort of like Aladdin, then The Lion King, and then Mulan, and like all of that kind of stuff, you can see how it's just like sort of faded into obscurity a little bit. But an American Tale, man, I was like, wow, this is because it's one of those films I haven't watched it since I was probably like 10 maybe or something like that, and I remember liking it a lot. But when I watched it this time, I was like, shit, there's a lot of depth to this, and I'm a little bit sad that it lost out to Basil, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I'm part of the problem because I've got a lot of love for Basil. I grew up around it, but like it was one of those ones that I could only watch at like a certain house because my mum didn't want to buy it. So I got to see it like every, I don't know, like I don't know, once every odd year, possibly. So I've got a lot of really like Basil. I saw American Tail as a kid, but I just kind of didn't remember it that well, and I didn't get to rewatch it at all because my parents have a thing with Don Bluth movies where all the kids have like kid voices and they're very squealy. So I didn't get to rewatch them very much because Mum and Dad hated them. So yeah, but similar with Rob, I kind of like rewatching it now. I was just kind of like, fuck me, there's a lot happening there. I was like, the cats have Russian hats. They're like Cossack cats. God damn, like there's a lot. That's not a lot that's happening, but just seeing that, I was just kind of like, whoa, hold on a minute. And like, yeah, they're celebrating Hanukkah, and I was like, ooh, okay. Like, yeah, it being
sorry, man.
no, just it being about Jewish immigration, and I was like, fucking hell, all right, let's do it. And I think it actually handled it pretty well as well for a kids film. So I was quite impressed just on like an ambition level, to be honest.
There's so many like little bits as well. Like the bit that struck me this time was when they changed their names. So they're like, oh yeah, Mouskowitz, and then the immigration officer's like, okay, you're Smith now. Because that's something that people were really like high on for Elemental, and it's like shit. That film's come out like nearly 40 years after, and people are praising that for doing something that this did in 1986, and it's like, yeah, I thought it was really ahead of its time.
You want me to do it?
What?
Sorry, I forgot to put myself in mute.
He's talking about us behind our backs.
But yeah, just it's like its attitude towards immigration, where it's like this thing that they've got like a really sort of like idealized view of because they've never been to this country that they're going to, and like the whole thing where like there's no cats and their life's going to be easier because they're going to this place where everyone can do what they want and like there's no need to worry because there's no danger and all of that kind of stuff. I thought that's such a clever setup. And then the whole thing where like they get there and it's not what they thought it was. It's like, man, this is like, you can see why Don Bluth left Disney, because this is no way a film that he'd ever be able to make under Disney's name.
Also, sort of like just like the thing of like, it's not like what they expected it to be, but the other immigrants there are trying to kind of come together and make it what they thought it was.
Yeah.
And like their diversity is sort of a strength, and like the reason they win is because like of the stories Fievel remembers his dad telling him and stuff. Like that's all just instrumental to them winning out, and it's just kind of like, oh yeah, diversity is a strength, and it's just kind of like, god damn, this is this is really well sort of put together in terms, like, especially as a kids film. Like, these are some very mature sort of subjects and like a very political sort of stance, and yeah,
which is the reason why I think Edgar Wright hated it. Oh, sorry, did I say Edgar Wright? I mean, Edgar Wright hated it because he said it's too mature for this for children, and it's like it's not really a kids film. It's the story is not really for young kids, even though if you have young kids as the main character in the film.
Was this Roger Ebert?
You're right. Oh, sorry. Did I say Edgar? My brain is all. My brain is not working today at all. Everything is a mess in my room, in my head, and everything.
It's alright, man.
Eager, yeah.
You're not Roger Ebert. You know, you don't say. Well, you do say weird things. To be fair.
Yeah, Roger Ebert said that, and he was like, "Oh yeah, it's not a kids' film." I'm like, "But it's a kids' film. It's like it's trying to teach kids that it's an '80s kids' film where like a lot of scary things happen, but it's like it's a kids' film still because even the other half of that, the The Great Mouse Detective have a lot of scary scenes in it as a child when you watch it. And it's like, oh, yeah, it's just early animation. Is because checking like the age rating for both these films. It's like, yeah, it's for like 6 years old and plus. I'm like, if you put a 6-year-old and made them watch that ocean scene or like the scene with Ratigan like in Big Ben, they could freak out. I can just imagine just watching the 6-year-old just going, this is a bit scary. I was like, yeah, it's 80s, early 80s animation. What do you expect? I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't like that criticism because it's like, I don't know, like, I don't like that a kid's film has to be stupid.
It's a Roger Ebert classic.
Yeah,
I think that's the
agree.
thing, though. It's just kind of like this stuff, like, because I had moments where I was watching it and I was just kind of like, fucking hell, is this like, would this be too scary for a kid? And I was like, this is kind of from the generation where you could scare kids a bit and it'd be fine.
Yeah, we grew up in like the prime era, I think, because we had like this already great rich history of great animation, and then we came out growing up with probably some of the best animated films ever made. And I think what's so good about both films, especially especially American Tail, is that when you're watching these as a kid, a lot of this stuff will go over your head, but when you watch them again as adults, they're still good, but in a different way because of the hidden messages and the subtext all behind it all that you missed when you're small. And that's why they stand the test of time, because they have that extra bit of depth that many other animated films of today's era just don't have.
Yeah, like it's all stuff that you don't register as a kid, but you are learning from. Because it's like, I don't know, like when you're a toddler, you kind of watch films like Toy Story and whatever, and you're like, oh, this is just a nice little sort of fantasy about toys. But then you go back to it as an adult, and you're like, oh shit, that's about how you should treat your friends and all of that kind of stuff. So it's like, I don't know, the idea that kids' films shouldn't have depth and all of that kind of stuff, I don't understand it. It's the same as like when, like, you know, if a kid's film is shit and then the defense of it is, well, it's a kids film, and it's like, well, no, like there's plenty of, like, especially because of Pixar now, I think maybe we're a bit more exposed to it, to be fair, but there's plenty of kids films that can
There's a wide gulf between like Paw Patrol and like, I don't know, a teenager movie. Like there's room to experiment more, and you don't have to make everything like so sterile and like toothless. It doesn't all need to be like really nice. And so I remember like I remember watching one called like The Page Master or something as a kid. I can't remember like a lot about it, but it was about like little living books.
Books, yeah, I've seen. That was. It wasn't like the best animated film, but it had an interesting story. I remember it being captivating, but just like it looks great.
I remember there's like a scary bit, and I was like, "Fucking hell!" Like,
was it the
shit.
it was
Mr. Hyde.
But yeah,
It was Mr. Hyde bit. And I was like, "Fuck, this is," but like, you know, I think it's important to be exposed to like little scary things here and there, like as a kid, because like you don't want to just be, you don't just want to have like Trolls 1 through 3 as like
but it. Oh shit! I was about to say, where would you put like things like Minions on like the scale of Paw Patrol to like a teenager's movie? You know, it's
definitely
like,
more toward Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol, right? But it's just like
Fucking love Minions. What are you talking about?
See?
Okay, Pat. What was your opinion on these two films, though?
I've always loved The Great Mouse Detective. I used to have it on VHS when I was very young, and I wore it out so much that our VHS player broke down because the tape head's just wrapped around the insides.
I just had an image of like, I can't remember what Simpsons episode it is, but something just like bursts into flames and Homer's just sat there like, oh.
Like one of that sort of like a group of like 6 VHSs that I used to watch a lot, like Fantasia, Lion King, Aladdin, stuff like that.
Asia.
Yeah, I loved Fantasia.
Oh, nice.
Mind you, I know that they've released a Blu-ray for it, and there's differences in it, so I don't know how well it hold up to me now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, American Tail I'd never seen, never even heard of before you picked it. It was a well-made film. I just didn't really take to it that much.
I mean, I was surprised that you called it a Christmas film. Admittedly, I felt like that was a bit of a.
Well, at the beginning, it had a very much a Christmas feel.
It was Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
That's Russia.
Sorry, that was just me. But like, I got really confused. I was like, Christmas film? I was like, wait, what? I was like, oh, but then afterwards I watched it again. I was like, all right, yeah, it's because of the single snowflake that was dropping. I was like, oh yeah, I get it.
I don't know if it's got something to do with like everyday life, but the kid mouse was fucking irritating me.
Yeah,
especially when I've come home and watched it after work. Probably not the best time to watch it.
Actually, I get where Pat would come from, because like he has to, like, occasionally seeing a kid and they're being kind of annoying is kind of endearing, but like seeing them every day for work, I can imagine Pat would probably have an aneurysm and just had like five fours go, Papa!
The thing is, right?
Like, oh, fucking hell.
If I had watched it after going to Rick's and hanging out at Jackson, I probably would have had a different opinion of it.
Oh.
You know, it's. I think it really depended on my state of mind that night, but like, it was well made film. Like, I'm not gonna shit on it for how it was made. Like, it was very well made. And there was elements of it that I didn't really take into account, because all I was looking at was this mouse was told not to go up there, and he goes up there, loses his family, and I'm like, well, this is your own fault, mate. But like,
just picture you in your store and there's like a fucking lost kid, and you're like, well, it's your own fucking fault. Deal with it, mate.
The overarching story, it makes it stronger. It really does. But you know, it's just wasn't one for me. But Basil, like, where I love Sherlock Holmes so much, it doesn't matter if it's a Sherlock Holmes rip. I'm gonna love the shit out of it. And the kid in that wasn't as annoying, because I was actually off the day that I watched it.
Oh man, this is so circumstantial.
But in general, I do prefer the Sherlock Holmes sort of stories more anyway. Yeah, it's just one of those things.
Yeah, I do think Basil's really good. Sorry, man.
I was just gonna say, one I loved, because I think I enjoyed The Great Mouse Detective so much because it was something that I was used to watching so much as a kid, and I was getting a bit of nostalgia watching it as well. Like, I wouldn't say it's like the greatest movie ever, but you sort of remember things that you're fond of when you were a kid. This American Tail, it is what it is for me. Like, I can't really tell you why I truly didn't take to it. I didn't hate it, but just one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I do think The Great Mouse Detective is really good, to be fair, but like, I think the double bill probably it sort of, I don't know, I wouldn't say it put me on the back foot, but it's kind of like, because An American Tail is so like, it kind of blew me away in a lot of ways, right? Because I was going into it thinking like, oh, this is just a cool film from my childhood. And then when I watched it, I was like, man, there's so much to this. And like, there's so many like clever little bits, and there's so many like really like thoughtful ways that they've represented the immigrants and how they've represented their view of the country that they're going to, like in contrast to the country that it actually is, and like all of this kind of stuff. That I think because An American Tail did that to me, it sort of made me look at Basil and go like, yeah, it's fine, but it's just Sherlock, which is like, it's not a bad thing because that's what Disney does, isn't it? Like it sort of takes stories that already exist and it makes them Disney. That's exactly what The Great Mouse Detective is. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like it's just like, yeah, I think because I've put An American Tail on such a pedestal, it's gone. It's sort of affected The Great Mouse Detective a little bit.
I think it's just one of those things where you put it in comparison. It's just kind of like you have a very like mature story presented to children in a like quite effective way, and it's tackling a lot of themes. Then you kind of compare that to Basil, which I think on its own, you go, yeah, that was really cool. I really like Rattigan. But it's a Sherlock. It's a Sherlock film with mice, and it's like it's just not that. It's not that deep, but it's not really meant to be that deep. It's just kind of meant to be a bit.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing as well, because like it being a Sherlock film with mice, because An American Tail, like there's a reason that they're mice and they're playing off them being mice. I kind of like think of that and I think, yeah, like everything has a purpose, and then I think of Basil and I'm just like, it's just a mouse because he's a mouse. There's not really a reason to make Sherlock a mouse.
Something I did quite enjoy though. I do like the idea that every household has like mouse counterparts, because that's present in both of them.
Yeah.
Because the Moskowitzes are have the
Moskowitzes,
Moskowitzes.
Yeah, I was going to say that it's so cool to have like you have the real human world and it's the mouse world. It's literally underneath. There's a mirror to it. So like Basil is living underneath Sherlock Holmes' 221B residence, and he's basically doing the same thing. And the Moskowitz are underneath the real Moskowitz family. So I feel it's like such a cool little alternate parallel of like the mice are just kind of like they kind of are the surrogates that of the real world counterparts. It's just a nice little detail. It said.
Yeah, I love that. I love that scene where the carriage is going along the street and you've got the mouse counterpart just on like the footstep underneath it.
Sorry, is it just me or is the speaker crackling?
I can't hear anything.
Nope.
No crackling from you.
I might try and leave and come back in, but before that, I'll say my opening statement. It's the first time I've seen either of them. Or sorry, both of them. Yeah, that's the same thing, right? Yeah. I do think American Tail had a stronger purpose, and the reason, and because of that, I changed my score just a tiny bit, and now both films are equal. So now they're both 8.5.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That wasn't
Wait.
that wasn't on purpose, but
God, Emmanuel has a higher average than me this round.
There's only 3 picks though.
No, I
One of
mean
them was
like
his.
I'm talking about in top Will. Usually I score things higher than Emmanuel.
yeah. But I thought it had a stronger purpose, and it exists. I thought it was cool what they was doing. But I enjoyed American Tail less because of a few things. You have the classic, not necessarily unrealistic, kids. Just what it is, just frustrating sometimes. Throughout the film. they did the kind of classic miss each other thing a bit too much for me. It's like, I know it's a classic thing, but why are you doing this? And then I think the thing that I was kind of not upset, but I was kind of like, oh, about the most. Like it's not there. It doesn't feel like he really learned a proper lesson about what he did wrong. It was just, oh, so glad you're alive. Love you so much. Move on. It's like, what? This kid's anyway. I don't feel like he really learned his lesson.
Well, I mean, his lesson is to like stick with his family a bit more carefully, which admittedly, even in the second film, he realized he still wanders off quite a lot. But you know, he's a kid. It just takes. Yeah, but Emmanuel, that's the whole point. He's a kid. It takes time. The kid's not gonna instantly go, yeah, wonderful. I'm gonna be wide-eyed and like silly as a kid. Then after his his adventure, he's not gonna go, okay, I need to sit down and do my taxes. But it's like, what were you expecting?
So sorry. Let me say it in a different way. I don't mean the kids. I mean from the parents' point of view. I was expecting some kind of like, it was a really good point. It was a moment they could have taken advantage of, the writers, to kind of make this a really good lesson, like for real kids watching this film. Because obviously adults will get different things from a kid will get it from the film. But I thought, yes, it might be obvious, but it would be good to really hammer that kind of point in at that point of like in the writing of, I guess, that whole lesson in the film. I'm not expecting the kid to learn straight away. I just thought that was an opportunity missed, because that was a big theme throughout the whole film. The fact that he didn't listen and was very self-absorbed in what he's doing, like a lot of kids are. And because of that, he almost died many times and never saw his family again. And I thought that was a very good lesson, but it's like they didn't really capitulate on that at the end when he's actually found. For a kid's point of view, I think there was just something else that needed there in the script, and then it would have been perfect.
I don't quite agree with you, because they did the scene before that where they had all of the other like kids, mice kids who are living in the slums, like, hey, where's your parents? My parents are dead. And it's like, they were just like
that was a fantastic accent.
But a bunch of like
orphaned,
but they're all a bunch of like orphaned mice kids, just like for beforehand. It's like, your parents don't love you. Just like, forget about it. And it's like, sorry, I couldn't give a
what is going on?
Forget about it.
Sorry, but like the point is that those kids were like the kids that had lost hope, and like those kids and those kids had no hope because they have lost their parents and they're all alone. And like the whole point is that Fievel lost his hope, and that's like, yeah, they should be looking for me, and he just like starts crying and laying there in the corner, right, as curled up in a ball. That's when as kids, I feel like it's when you go, oh man, that's sad. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to lose hope. Then that's why when he meets his dad again and his family, that's all very bright and angelic, and that's how it gives you like that, that rush of like adrenaline and hope again. And then it's like, oh right, yeah. So there's being lost and being orphaned, and like then there's the instant, oh wait, actually found my family and I'm happy again. So it's kind of like I feel like it balanced it out during just like those two the ending two scenes. So I think it was fine for like a moral of a story, to be honest, Emmanuel. I don't know if it's like I wouldn't say it needed to be spelled out. I feel like it was very this is what it's like to be left alone, and this is what it's like to be with the family instantly afterwards. So it was explained like that, I guess is how I would like to say it is, but maybe it's because you didn't watch it as a kid and the perspective changed as you were watching it as an adult. So maybe that's me, looking at it through like rose-tinted glasses. But it's like I don't know how to explain it.
Maybe that's a fair point. I would like to say to sort of add to what you were saying. I'm not saying that the hope isn't there because I think that it shows that scene of him going from giving up to them coming to find him like that to me that mainly talks about not giving up hope, the whole kind of point. And that really we kind of remember when he's like never never never, we're kind of reminded of the song in the beginning, and we're like, no, we don't want you to give up hope, keep looking. But there was one thing that kind of I was like about, is because, and again, not all kids will think this kind of same thing, but like those kids were saying to him, oh, if they wanted to find you, they would have found you already. Like, just give up on them. And then you see that they've only recently started looking for him because they believe he's dead. So I'm not saying all kids would get this, but from some kids' perspective, it could be like, oh, yeah, they weren't looking for him this whole time. If they looked for him, they would have found him earlier. But I was just like, it's the fact that this is the kids should be freaking listening in the first place. And then this whole thing wouldn't have happened. And I think it would have homed in the point even more about being like again, like you said, the scene where the mouse is really sad. It homes in the point that yes, they really don't want to be without their parents. They really don't want to feel that way. But sometimes, especially some kids, they need to be reminded of how it got to that situation. They know they don't want to feel those emotions, but they don't know how they don't remember how he ended up there in the first place. They see the consequences, but they can't remember what was the actions. And sometimes just making a gentle reminder, you would do real life anyway. Like of what happened can sometimes bring it all home and kind of wrap it up neatly and be like, oh, yeah, that was great. But it's a small point. But I also felt it was a missed opportunity for that kind of thing. But otherwise, good movie. Yeah.
So, what was your opinion on The Great Mouse Detective then?
Oh, it was great. I had no real strong views about it besides it being really good. Oh yeah, the only thing that was a bit off about it, and I didn't get the chance to look at any trivia, so maybe someone else knows about this. But I found it interesting how the little girl's voice had no accent, kept drifting in and out of like Scottish accent, London accent, and I wondered if, and this is not really necessarily unrealistic. I was just wondering the reason behind it. I was thinking, I wonder if the real girl was a Scottish girl who lived in London for a while, and maybe that's why her voice also kept drifting in and out at London. But they obviously went from London. It's kind of it works really well. It's a small touch that, think about it in the context of the situation, is perfect. The fact that her accent is drifting and it's not consistent like her dad's. I just
No, it's because the actress is shit.
That's what like my wife was saying at first. But then I thought about it. I was just like, they're living in London. This is a kid, and as a kid, you're very influential. And I was very much the same. I'm still the same today. My accent will drift here or there. Sometimes I'll sound more English. Sometimes I sound more. American. But why are you looking at me like that?
I reckon Emmanuel goes down to West Ham games and he's like, "Come on then."
It's been 20 years.
I'm
I'm
talking-
saying this with an American accent.
But
Oh, man.
sometimes people will say it have to before. Oh, I didn't realize at first, and then you start
They're not
saying.
listening properly.
The point is, it seems even more realistic that a kid's gonna be drifting in and out.
It's very realistic.
Yeah, when I think about it.
Happening.
Okay, fair enough.
I think it's a good
But I-
point, man.
One of
Yeah.
I don't care
make
what
that
I don't care what Camilla says. I think it's a good point.
Yeah.
Done very well. She was Scottish, apparently.
Yeah, I think best faith is that the actress was given the brief of just like miscellaneous British.
I think that's a decent. I'd like to think that was an intentional touch, though. Like, try and drift into London because you've lived there, and then her dad's got the stronger, like groundskeeper Willie sort of accent, and then, jeez, yeah, I actually quite like. I've never considered that before. I just yeah, I didn't even notice that her accent was inconsistent. To be fair, but
Yeah.
good
As soon as,
spot.
like, as soon as I saw it at first, and then first scene to the, I was confused. I was just like, wait, where is her accent meant to be from? And then yeah, but otherwise, yeah, it kind of reminded me of like not completely like skit based kind of thing, but it kind of reminded me of like the era of Tom and Jerry shows and whatnot. Quite a bit. You have this kind of through line, but you have a lot of kind of funny things that are happening all at the same time. I don't feel like anything was really overdone in terms of tropes or anything. I think it was just very well written. There were a lot of small things like my wife was talking about. Obviously, things they're obviously the Sherlock Watson, and there was they did mirror a lot of that kind of stuff in the mice and bats and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I thought it was all pretty cool, pretty good.
I guess the only other question I was going to ask you, Emmanuel, was like, how did you see like the animation wise, like the production for each one is quite good, but which one do you think was a bit better animated? Is also my other question.
I know this is for Emmanuel. Oh, sorry.
Huh?
I didn't think you were going to respond so quick. Go.
It's hard to kind of say because when was the Sherlock one on again? What year?
They're both the same year. That's the whole point.
Oh.
So I would say the Disney one is slightly better, slightly more advanced, but because there's certain techniques and things they were doing in the Disney film, but then I can't remember who produced and made the American Tail.
Don Bluth.
Yeah, it's produced by Steven Spielberg, though.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. While they both have, I guess they both have money. I mean, Disney were doing a lot of this kind of stuff. I don't know how much of the people involved in American Tail do that. It is a slightly different style. There are a lot of similarities, but I think there are a few things that, like, I don't know how to put it.
I actually think this is quite a little microcosm of like the films itself, though, because Basil's probably. I don't think it's got as much of an ambition as American Tail. American Tail's doing a lot of stuff with its animation that is quite. It's a bit more ambitious. It's trying to do more things, and it's not necessarily like that successful all the time. But it's kind of integrating like realistic water, and they're being animated in
Yeah.
front of it. And then there's that technique. I don't know what it's called, but I know Ralph Bakshi used to do it a lot. But like the baskets, like they kind of seem. It looks like early motion capture sort of thing, where like they kind of color over something real that's moving, and like it's just like a wicker basket,
Rotoscoping?
or like the train.
Yeah, rotoscope. I was going to mention that
That's
later, actually, because it's kind of like both films kind of use rudimentary CGI, but I think
Oh, yeah.
you're right. That's what's different about that's what's different about American Tail more so, is that you see the basket and then the train, especially, they look like live action things shot and it's been painted over. That's why it has this sort of like unrealness to it. But Mouse Detective, when in Big Ben, the big sequence with all the cogs and all the bells, that I think was early CGI.
Yeah.
But they painted each of the cells to make it look like it's part of the 2D world.
Okay, I
Really
didn't
clever
know
stuff.
And just to finish up on that's a very good point. My main point is that they're both pushing in different ways, and I think they're both as good as each other. Honestly, they've just got some are like they're both better in different ways at certain things, but it both kind of equals out as being really good quality for the time. So there wasn't a moment where I was thinking, oh, what happened there? Or that was weird or anything like that. I thought it was all really well done throughout, seamlessly. And yeah, American Tail did have more moving parts like in the background as well, compared like through a lot of. But yeah, I think they were both good as each other.
It's actually quite an interesting double bill from that point of view, because like where Don Bluth was an animator for Disney for so long, and then he went off and did his own thing, and then you had like two Mouse films in the same year. When like was this his first film after Disney?
He did the Secret of
I
Nymph.
think, yeah.
Oh yeah, the
Secret of the Nymph.
Yeah.
Is one of my favorite ones, and that came out around this time, and so did obviously Land Before Time and
I know.
all those that go together. It's all that era. So he had such a unique style.
Yeah.
I always love and always remember, and always we have this soft spot for it. Don Bluth Productions.
But I do think you can see like a bit of the old Disney style in Fievel, where he's got like the sort of big forehead and like the eyes that kind of like go up into the forehead and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The Donald Duck look.
Fievel doesn't. He looks quite dishevelled. he does. I do look like see him and go like, "Fuck, you have been in a bottle and floating around in the ocean for a few days." Like you just kind of oh.
Mm.
Like, he doesn't look quite as polished sometimes.
No.
I think that's refreshing. To be
Yeah, and I think on that, I think one of my favourite scenes actually is the bit with him and Tiger when they're singing like adieu, adieu, because like there's so many little bits where you look at Fievel and you're just like, shit, man, this mouse has been through a lot to get here. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, I feel like for all the understanding Fievel does not have at the beginning, like he does go through a lot, and I don't know if it's like an intentional thing, but I kind of if it is, I think it's really cool. I like how the cats get steadily less scary looking
Mm.
as it goes on, because like obviously like right at the beginning they look like horror monsters, but then by the end they're sort of a bit more in keeping with the other with like the normal animation style, and that they become people and like, you know, not likable people, but like they kind of become a bit more defined in Fievel's perspective. I'm choosing to read that as I don't know if that's intentional, but considering how they're presented right at the beginning, where they're all teeth and they're all teeth and eyes, and they're going and like the shading isn't like they're sort of lighted dramatically, whereas right at the end where we've got Warren T. Rat and everything, they're sort of less. They're sort of less of that. They kind of.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually, man. I think the rest of it is. That's a really good point, actually, man. Yeah, and I think as well, like it's such a thoughtful film that you can give it the benefit of the doubt with that, and I think it probably is intentional.
Now, the reason I like put these two together on the bill for this also is also because of like production reasons. I feel like watching it and seeing the moving parts that are like American Tail and Basil, there's a lot of like animation wise and like key what is it called, key cells or key, like, you know, they're like each individual like drawing styles. I feel like the movements and like the character designs for American Tail are probably better than The Great Mouse Detective, but like the more like, let's say, backgrounds and map paintings that you see in like a lot of like Disney and like early 80s like animated films are probably better because it's Disney, because they have a higher budget to just, you know, paint each, like when they're in the toy store and you can paint each fucking like clown or fucking Jack in the Box or like, you know, little soldier guy, and it's like each one is better.
I would like to point out, while that is true in the toy store, when they go to the pub, I was keeping an eye on the background, and the background actually doesn't change like a lot for like an extended sequence. There's always the same. There's the same like 3 tables, and it's the same mice, and they don't actually move, and it's because your attention is on Dawson or Basil or whatever. But they're all sort of like lamp lit mice, and they're just static. It's just a static background, and it's like.
I guess as well.
Wait,
I don't know if you just ran out of money, but
is that during the musical number?
Yeah, it's actually
Okay.
if it's not there, it's really close to it.
Okay,
But
I was about to say, I feel like maybe they spent all their money on the musical number instead. I was like,
I don't know if it was just like a time thing or a money thing, but I was just kind of like, obviously it's not going to be noticed by like general people, but I was just like, I'm I'm looking at that. I'm going to see if it moves, and I'm like, it does not move whatsoever. It's all the same background for about like 30 shots.
I suppose the thing is though, like,
you got it.
This would have been around the time when like Disney were focusing a bit more on like live action stuff.
What, 86?
Yeah, because it would have been around the time of like Tron and all of that, wouldn't it?
Yes,
It was.
with you. I was going to say
it was just before the Disney animated renaissance that we grew up with.
Yeah,
I was about
That
to
really
say,
took off.
I was saying to my parents the success of Basil sort of it was successful enough that Disney were like, oh, okay, let's do that, and it kind of like paved the way for the Disney Renaissance to actually like happen. So yeah, that does make sense. Where like they were putting more resources into the live action stuff, and then kind of went, oh, actually, that's doing all right.
Yeah.
Back into
It kind of is cyclical, isn't it? Like every like generation, they try and like pivot to live action, and then they realise that they're so associated with animation that they might as well just carry on with it.
Or they do what they do in 2019, where they made an animation and it was called The Lion King, and then they tried to market it as a real life thing, and then they nominated themselves for every single Oscar nomination apart from Best Animated Feature because they were trying so hard to market it as a real life live action.
That's so insane, man. Like, imagine being so good at animation that it comes across as live action, and your response to that is to go, "We should tell people this is live action."
You should tell people that these lions are actually talking to each other.
Let's get him, lions.
Oh, bloody Beyonce, man.
All the single lions. All the single lions.
You put your paws up.
Stop.
Oh man.
I regret setting you up for that.
I'll be honest, I only really thought of that retort midway through. So it's like it wasn't preemptive as soon as he started singing it. It's like, can I think of something before Alex stops singing? Gotcha.
Yes, you can. But yeah, this is that was like one of the only bits that made me go like, oh, I don't know, man. American Tail kind of has you beat, even though it does have a winking Statue of Liberty at the end.
I don't know. I don't know if that's bad or good. I thought like, all right, it's fine for the kids movie, I guess.
It's definitely bad. Did you see what happened to me when I tried to watch it on Thursday?
No, what?
I literally got to that bit and the Statue of Liberty winked, and then my Amazon player just crashed and it just something went wrong. I was like, yeah, okay, so, but like when I watched it the first time, I was like, that's actually quite funny because she like winks and then Five looks at his sister and they both go, and I was like, yeah, that is what you do. You would just assume you've gone mental.
Yeah, I've never thought of that. It's just like, oh, it's just a thing you just added in. A winking Statue of Liberty. It's like, well, I guess, yeah, sure. I guess it makes sense.
It's supposed to be like, you know, the visual of like he has gained acceptance and he is now an American. He entered America as an immigrant and now he has proven himself to be accepted. And it's like Statue of Liberty winks at him, and I was like, yeah, all right. Not how I made that, but fair enough.
To be fair, though, the Statue of Liberty was like literally put there to welcome immigrants. So it's kind of like, it's still silly, but it's kind of nice.
Yeah, I think again that's another way to sum up American Tail. It's a little silly, but it is very nice. But yeah, also very mature.
Yeah,
I'd like to say the biggest mouse of mink. What was it again?
The Giant Mouse of Minsk.
Yes.
That was another
it
thing.
It made me think of Bug's Life. Their plan is like scare the grasshoppers. Like their plan to scare the cats. Like I was like, I wonder if someone from A Bug's Life saw this before writing this.
Oh, definitely.
Oh.
100% would have definitely. It's the same brilliant idea.
Yeah. Great idea. It's good. Came all from Italy, Fiverr.
Disney realizing they needed Don Bluth after all.
They would never admit that.
They needed what after all?
They needed Don Bluth, the animator who made American Tail, because they had like, I wouldn't say, what, did they have a big falling out? I just remember he just like, I can't remember how it went, but I just remember, yeah, I'm going to start my own goddamn studio, Blackjack and Hookers. And it was just like, yeah, okay, you do that. But then afterwards, it got really, but yeah, he got really popular and like, a lot before time, like, it was like one of the, like, I think it was like one of the few movies that like beat like a Disney movie that he had. So I'm not quite sure about that. I might not have been The Land Before Time. It might have been All Dogs Go to Heaven instead. But it's like he has one of those movies.
I've
That
not
is
seen
one of-
either, but that seems like a weird two to mix up.
All dogs go
No,
to
I
Devon.
can't because I can't remember which year it came out in. So that's the only reason I got it mixed up. I feel like one of those two have beat like the Disney movie that came out that year. Yeah, and it's just like, oh wow, I beat you guys at your own game. It's like that. Then afterwards they were like, all right, Lion King. Then I was like, oh okay, fuck. And it's like
You know,
Yeah.
I've actually only seen Land Before Time 2.
I didn't even know there was a Land Before Time too.
No,
Oh,
there's
there's many
There's-
Land Before Time.
Land
There's-
Before Times.
there's-
Yeah, it's like 8 of them.
No, there's more Land Before Times than there are Godzilla movies. And that
No, that can't be
Wait,
true.
what?
there is. You check the wiki.
Land
There is.
Before
No,
Time.
there can't be. There's like
Did you say
50
just check
Godzilla
the
movies.
wiki?
There's crap loads.
Wait, let me
There's-
have a look.
Fucking loads, mate.
Are these like TV special movies, or are these like
Oh,
movies?
yeah,
that
they
came
are.
out?
They are
These are-
straight to.
These
to
are
DVD,
direct to
straight
videos.
to video.
There's the Land
Oh,
Before
okay.
Time, the Land Before Time 2, which is one I've
Ben's
seen.
momentum just
The
died
Land
there.
Before Time 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13,
11?
14. There's 14 Land Before Time.
Oh,
Holy
Rob-
shit.
yeah, there's
Rob,
a lot.
we've
Maybe
been
not as
lied
many.
to.
I,
in-
thought,
in
I
our
thought
youth.
8. I thought 8 was like the last time I checked. I was like, all right, yeah, there's 8 of them. I don't even need to care anymore.
Oh, this one came out in 2016.
There's more
Wait,
of
what?
this than Fast and Furious films.
There's
What?
literally more Land Before Time films than Fast and Furious films.
Wow.
Oh, that's the Land Before Time.
Well, is it? Let's go. It's like this number 15, like Littlefoot, not so little anymore. What is it? What the fuck?
Oh my god.
Little
This
foot,
is
two
obscene.
little-
Why
two
did
foot.
they keep
I
going?
don't know.
Land Before Time 15, Littlefoot's back, and this time he's pissed off.
This
Take the
time
piss. I would just start next year. Go. All right, I'm going to do all the Land Before Times.
Oh my god. Do you know what though? Credit to them because they've kept the same naming formula. Because every time it's a Land Before Time, then a Roman numeral, and then a stupid subtitle.
Are you
Okay.
trying to say that
Not
Land
really.
Before Time 13, Invasion of the Tiny Sauruses, is a terrible subtitle? Because let me tell you, sir. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but
That's really
I mean, if, okay, I just got surprised by that name. Fucking hell. But at least they
Oh
didn't
my
go.
God.
They didn't do like Land Before Time 5. They've tried to reboot it as the new Land Before Time or Land Before Time, the New Beginning or some shit. And it's like, all right, and they give it like a reheat, like Land Before Time 2, but it's not the same Land Before Time 2 as Land Before Time 2. And it's like, oh no, they fucking Halloweened it. It's like, oh.
Jesus. These all sound like they've come out of a bloody Land Before Time subtitle generator. Like Land Before Time
Land
3,
Before.
the time of great giving. Why not? Land Before Time 7, the stone of I don't know, cold fire. Why not? It's just this is mad.
It looks like the last one was like they was trying to reboot it in 2017 because there was a 9-year gap between that and the Wisdom of Friends, and I don't know how they're the same age basically throughout all the films. They don't
Jesus,
age.
man, it's literally all of them. Journey to Big Water.
Hey, Big Water's a fucking classic, mate. I don't
I'm
wanna
sure
hear
it is.
Classic shit.
that. I'm gonna just share one with the in the group chat. Littlefoot is making the same face in every single cover, and I'm not convinced he doesn't have gingivitis. That is a
Gingivitis,
gingivitis
yeah.
smile right there.
So that with the teeth.
The Wisdom of Friends, Land Before Time 13.
Oh my God.
That's
Oh my God.
Thanks, Don Bluth.
The Land Before Time, the Wisdom of Friends.
Don't believe it's one. The rest is just randos.
That's the thing, man. If you even like the first one is Don Bluth, and it's produced by Steven Spielberg and George Lucas. The rest of them, it's just like, I don't know, anyone can do it. I would just put your hand up and we'll pick someone at random.
God, the cover on the first one's way better than like you get to number 12 and it's like, oh, look, hang on, I will compile these for your convenience.
The first poster is like a proper Lucasfilm poster, and then the next one is just like.
So is it just like the rights get passed by everyone? Everyone's just like, just do you want to do a Land Before Time film? Yeah, sure, why not? I mean, like
night and day shit.
The rights before time.
Well, it's not even that. It's like I feel like we could do. I think we could probably get a Land Before Time. Littlefoot joins a gang. You know, it's something. You know, yes, anything. You could just do
Littlefoot
anything.
learns about drugs.
It's like how much does it cost to get the rights to Land Before Time? It's just like we just do anything with it.
You got any tree stars, man? Hit me up.
Nah, that's the wrong show, man.
I'm jonesing
Go
for
to the
a tree
film.
star.
You need to go to that roundabout, man.
I had no idea that The Land Before Time had such longevity.
Neither did I. I know you really surprised us, Ben. Fucking hell.
Yeah. Imagine if you that was your job. You were working on all those films. So it's like, oh, you do animation. What'd you do? Land Before Time. Wait, didn't that finish like years ago? No, we're still
Yes,
doing
it did, but I'm still making them.
Oh, okay. Oh, imagine that's your main portfolio for just like many years. Okay, you can do this kid show.
Did the Land Before Time? Which one? All of them.
Oh, at least 6.
Oh, Christ. So.
Anyway, back to mice.
Yes, sorry, I was back to mice. So, I feel like animation-wise, probably these two films will probably be better than Land Before Time 3, at least. So, but it's just like seeing them like next to each other, seeing these two films next to each other. I was gonna say, animation-wise, the animations and movements of American Tail, well, an American Tail is probably better than The Great Mouse Detective. I do think the CG or the early adaptations of CG is probably better in The Great Mouse Detective because, admittedly, during that time, the introduction of CG is a bit clunky, and it's like very like robotic. But it made sense in Basil, The Great Mouse Detective because it's in Big Ben. It's just gears. Of course, it's clunky. It's like it made sense to just do it there, and it was like, all right. The early adaptation of the CGI was pretty great because it was simple. It was simple during that time, and it was just like, yeah, it's just gears turning. What do you need? It doesn't need to be the Great Mouse of Minsk, where it's kind of got like the animation, but it doesn't like look like. It looks kind of. I don't know if it's janky is the right word to say, and it's like because it looks janky, it looks a bit menacing. But then afterwards you go, I mean, it's supposed to be menacing, so. It's okay, I guess. I don't know. How about what do you guys think? Because like I think it's like it works for what it's trying to do, but I feel like it's better in The Great Mouse Detective.
Well, I think the biggest difference between the two of them is that you can tell that there's like a big studio behind The Great Mouse Detective. Like not that there's not a big studio behind An American Tail as well, but like it just feels like it's one person's like vision rather than The Great Mouse Detective, which is like it feels like there's like many hands on it, I suppose. And the stuff of like the early CGI, like it kind of makes sense that Disney would have been backing that at the time, because if they was gonna be making films like Tron and all of that kind of stuff. It's obviously something that they were experimenting with. Although I suppose it's interesting in a way because I wonder. I'll have a look now, but I wonder if Industrial Light and Magic had anything to do with An American Tale.
Wait, isn't Industrial Light and Magic part of Disney?
It is now, but it used to be part of Lucasfilm. Well, it's still part of Lucasfilm, but Lucasfilm before Disney as well.
Oh, I did not know. Okay. Oh, yeah, because it's Lucasfilm and it's like with Star Wars, right? Obviously, that's probably why I got that mixed up. I didn't realize it was owned by George Lucas. Well, Lucasfilm, sorry.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it did have anything to do with An American Tale, to be fair. But no, he basically put it together to work on Howard the Duck, and the people who were working for the early version of Industrial Light and Magic went on to make Pixar.
That I have heard. So, everyone starts somewhere. He goes, oh, what did you do? I used to work Howard the Duck. What did you do afterwards? Oh, I made Toy Story. Okay, yeah, sure.
But yeah, no, I think like there is.
It'd be in luck if you were getting interviewed by Rob, though.
Huh?
I said they'd be in luck if they were getting interviewed by you, though. So, oh, fucking excellent. Team masterpiece.
This guy loves Howard the Duck. I've never met anyone like this.
He just wakes up that morning. He's like, you know what? I often keep this to myself, but today I'm gonna just say it. I worked on Howard the Duck, and he's like, I love Howard the Duck. And I'm like, sweet Christ! I waited for this day. Sorry. Hey.
Oh, man. Oh, I forgot where I was going to go with this afterwards. What else did I
In answer to your question, I think it actually works in the film's favour. I think the Great Mouse of Minsk being rotoscoped, making it look a little bit otherworldly, I think that definitely does favours compared to like the rest of the animation and stuff.
Well, I mean, it's better than the winking Statue of Liberty, is what you want to say.
I think the winking Statue of Liberty is getting a hard time, personally.
I think the winking Statue of Liberty
It's not
is.
that bad.
I don't know if that's. I wouldn't have thought that was rotoscoped, but also I think the Great Mouse of Minsk is just something that's kind of like just fine conceptually. I'm just like, you know what, that's completely fine and not ridiculous. But the Statue of Liberty winking, I'm like, I don't know. I can see what your rationale was. I'll say that. I can see what
What's the
you were
rationale?
doing.
I did not understand.
I'm surprised Alec didn't have an issue with Christopher Plummer and his French accent.
Oh, Christopher Plummer was fucking immaculate as usual. What a
I'm
guy.
glad to hear you say it because that was his character was magnifique. As you once said.
Magnifique. I liked Henri. I thought he was wonderful.
Yeah.
He kept doing. He was doing like his delivery was kind of reminding me of the actor who did Lumiere in The Beast, and I was like, oh, is this the same guy? And then I was like, that's Christopher motherfucking Plummer. What the shit? Oh man.
I gotta look at this guy.
So, Emmanuel, what was that?
He's trying to.
I just said I gotta look at this guy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was like, he's had 2 outings in Film Club because he was in The Exorcist, and I was like, nope, that's Max von Sydow.
Oh, that's Christopher Plummer.
No, that's Max von Sydow.
Canadian guy. That's cool. I didn't know his face. I mean, I didn't know his name.
He's the emergency plumber in in
I'll just stop
all
it
the
there.
money in the world.
Mario. Sorry, what did you say, Ben? I said Mario.
Just stop it there.
In all the money in the world, they got Kevin Spacey to play one of the main characters, and obviously Kevin Spacey and the allegations came out, so they got Christopher Plummer to come in to redo all the scenes, and he was the emergency plumber.
I got to say though, when your band is named Kevin Spacey and the Allegations, you're sort of asking for trouble. Hi, Simon.
So, I think I had this. I think I had this question that someone asked before, and I don't know on another podcast. It's a question of what is the best animated rat character in fiction for you, or like just who is the best rat character in fiction? Someone said Ratigan. Someone said the rat from Ratatouille, and I'm thinking.
The fact that you had to default to saying the rat from Ratatouille should say something.
No. I mean, his name is Remy, but I'm like, that's not my favorite like rat. It's gonna be Master Splinter, right? Master Splinter is definitely the best rat in like.
Yeah.
I can't put.
I think. Actually, you know what? I think I prefer Ratigan.
Oh, Alec.
I like Splinter.
Terrible.
I like Jackie Chan's Splinter. He's wonderful.
He's wonderful, yeah.
But there's something about there was actually like a little bit, and I was I could tell my sister wasn't like that into the film, and I was like, there's a bit coming up, and Ratigan just has the best fucking line I've ever heard from like a Disney film, like just hang in there, just wait, I'll let you know when it's coming, and then he's explaining his elaborate plan to kill them. And then Dawson goes, "You're despicable." And Ratigan goes, "Yes." I love it.
That's why I love him. Vincent Price is just a fantastic character actor. His voice is perfect. Well, he hadn't done an animated film before.
It's so good. I really miss that type of villain. That's just so unapologetically like, I'm a cunt. Like,
yeah, he takes real joy in being pure evil.
That may be my favourite moment in the whole film. Yeah.
I forgot.
So I feel like I'm just batting you about. Sorry, man.
Batting like Fidget.
Oh, Fidget! What a guy! Best bat character, definitely.
Yeah, he was great. He was so gremlin-like. He was like,
I fucking love Fidget. He can be like quite scary, but he's like he's very competent. But he's got so much going on. He's got his little pig leg, and he's got the voice. The voice is so fucking good. Sorry, I really like Fidget, and I was going like Fidget's just such a good character. And my sister was like, "What about the bat from Anastasia?" And I was like, "I don't give a fuck about him." Fidget kicks his shit out of him. He's brilliant.
Yeah, he is the bit of bad. Ironically, Bat from Anastasia, that was a Don Bluth film. Anastasia. Not his best, but it was a Bluth film.
Isn't Anastasia getting like bought by Disney to join like Disney princess like lineup?
Oh really?
I remember reading something about like they bought the rights to Anastasia just to.
Afraid they want to buy it now.
Look, it's like from what I understand, it's like everyone keeps mistaking Anastasia as a Disney princess, and they're like, no, it's a Don Bluth film. Well, who's Don Bluth? He's to animate for Disney. Oh, but doesn't that make it a Disney film? I was like, no, that's not how that works. And everyone gets. If
there's a female character and she does something remotely fairy tale-ish, like Anastasia and Thumbelina, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, let's make her a Disney princess.
Yeah, so essentially they got so annoyed, they're like, okay, let's just buy the rights to it, so she is technically a Disney princess. That's what I remember reading about it. Maybe that was like maybe the deal didn't go through, but from what I understand, she's a Disney princess technically.
Well, she'll be a
now.
Disney princess when they do a live action remake.
Oh yeah, that as well. Yeah, that as well. Yeah, that as well. Yeah. I don't know what other live action remakes they're planning to do. I'm just worried. Have there been has there been like a new idea for a live action Disney remake? Are they gonna do something else again? I can't remember.
Oh, they're doing Moana next.
They're doing Moana.
Yeah, with
Oh.
Dwayne Johnson.
While
himself.
Dwayne's still about.
Yeah,
Bloody hell.
that only
Yeah,
just
it's-
came out.
I know, they're
Yeah.
old.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, the hierarchy of power, right?
and they're doing they're doing Lilo and Stitch as well.
All right, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
sorry.
I remember hearing about the Leo and Stitch one, right? Yeah, I just
And they're doing Hercules.
They're doing what?
Hercules.
Oh,
And they're
I
doing
can't imagine
Bambi.
you're very happy about
So I'm not impressed.
that.
is Ryan Gosling gonna play Hercules?
Probably not.
Okay,
He's
because he
just Ken.
No, they're
No,
gonna
no,
get
no.
someone like Ariana Grande playing Meg.
no. Because
No,
the
they can't
point-
get Ariana
Actually,
Grande
that would
playing
probably
Hercules.
work.
No.
No, because Ryan Gosling did play Hercules in a show called Young Hercules. So I was like, oh, is that what they're gonna do? I was like, it
Well,
makes
I'd rather him
sense.
be Hercules than Grande.
I
Be a
think they missed the
Keanu Reeves
boat.
instead.
No, they missed the boat for Hercules because like a young Brendan Fraser would have been perfect.
Oh yeah, 100%. From George in the Jungle era. Brendan
Yeah.
Fraser.
No, that's a throwback.
Okay. So I feel like we're getting to the end of the rope for these two films. So you guys want to do favorite scenes?
Yeah.
No? Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go on.
So in the spirit of the nomination points, my favourite scene from American Tail is when the Statue of Liberty winks.
Okay. Okay.
Very well. You sure showed me.
And
On for Basil.
for
What the fuck's
yeah.
going on there? On for Basil. No, did you have like a little bit of a underdog sort of moment for Basil that you can cite at and seem like really like cool and interesting? No, you got one of them for Basil, have you? No.
Basil seems to have like passed us all by without much criticism, so I don't feel the need to defend it.
I can criticise Basil. I'll criticise Basil all the live long day. I gave it a 7.
No, on a serious note, my favourite in American Tail is the bit with Fiver and Tiger. Just because I don't know, I think it's so joyous, man. I love that little bit where they're becoming friends and whatever. I like that Tiger's a vegetarian as well. Yeah,
Well, that's
I
very
love
nice,
that
but
one.
I asked for Basil.
You're right. No, I think to be honest, my favourite scene in Basil is actually quite near the start. It's when Basil turns up and he reveals himself. I was just like, hello, what the fuck is this? and then he reveals himself. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it set a really nice tone for it all.
Oh, I can see someone making a face. I did wonder how that landed. before you-
well, no, it's the way he said he revealed himself, and I was like, wait, what the fuck did you mean? Oh, wait, no, yeah.
I did look across at my sister and go like, prepare for racism.
Mm.
Then Mum was like, I didn't hear it, and I was like,
Well,
eyeballs.
one thing, it was a mask, right? It wasn't like
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was.
okay.
It's like
Yeah,
the
at least
whole,
he didn't.
like,
He didn't do
bodysuit.
the whole.
Yeah.
He didn't do the full Sean Connery.
Yeah, there's loads of bits in Basil I really like actually. The little bits like we mentioned earlier, like how it mirrors like the real world, like the scene where you actually see the silhouette of Sherlock Holmes in the window of Baker Street. and then underneath you just get the panning shot right down, and it zooms in onto Basil is actually working in the same sort of manner. So those little touches here and there were great. But I think that the ending in Big Ben was just a fantastic kind of like set piece to end the film on, which I think it's just the quintessential Sherlock Holmes like showdown kind of thing, but it's like enhanced with like I think it was like I mentioned the CGI animation kind of making it even more like really complicated and really fascinating to watch and look at. But one of the cool animated things that I loved about it is how you could see Rattigan become kind of more feral as the fight went on, and his suit was just like getting frayed and everything like that. And Basil's fighting him to this like it's proper like Moriarty versus Sherlock Holmes right from the book, Reichenbach 4 brought to life, and it's just the two of them just going at it. It's just a fantastic moment, and just
Oh,
they
wow.
fought together.
He just goes at it.
Yeah, they go at it. But yeah, I appreciate the animation in that, especially. It's like that's you can see where all the money just went in that sequence, and it really pays off and stands up the test of time. For American Tail, there's obviously there's so much we all like about it. I think, like Rob says, like Tiger is such a wonderful, endearing character. He's just like the cowardly lion from Wizard of Oz. He's like, yeah, let me at him. It's like, it's just so like lovable, and every scene he's in is just fantastic. But I think the songs are really good. It's like what 4 of them, and they don't really overshadow much of the film, but they do leave an impact. And they're really just kind of subtly weaved in the story. They're not quite thrown in randomly. They're natural progression, and they kind of show the thought process of what the characters are feeling. So that works really well in that regard. But yeah, that for American Tail, there's just hard to pinpoint a favorite moment, but yeah, like Rob says, like his first meeting with Tiger.
Oh, I thought you were also going to say the Statue of Liberty wink.
And the wink. Yeah, the wink is nice. It's not as bad as you said.
Well, that's your opinion.
But yeah, I just love I love that moments like that. And then, like you said before, actually, the little darker sequences in both films, the little scary bits that will always stick with you when you're a kid. And even those bits where you see the cockroaches going after Pfeiffer, and then he jumps over that ledge in the sewer, and then they all fall down into the water, and then there's this like fish creature just eating them up, and he's just like, "What the hell was that?" And it's just, it's quite creepy, but it's kind of like it just shows you like what he has to deal with and all the little perils he has to fight and face. So yeah, the little details really, really stick with you.
How about you, Pat?
The winking Statue of Liberty, just because.
Oh God damn it, you guys!
I'm. I've had it.
I'm going to lift up your shirt.
Basil's probably the whole Big Ben scene. That's always a scene that
You just like landmarks.
It must be. It's something that's stuck with me ever since I was a kid. That and sort of like the setup for I'm really shit at remembering characters' names, but when the girl's dad obviously knows that shit's gonna go down, so he's put her in the cupboard, and obviously got attacked by what's the bat's name?
Fidget.
The bat, Fidget, yeah.
I thought that was a well done scene without seeing too much either, because like I remember as a kid when that happened and she came out the cupboard, I thought that I was going to see her dad dead on the floor somewhere. So like then when that wasn't shown, you sort of had like a little bit of hope. Like this is like going back to when I first ever watched it. So I quite like how that scene was done. And the setup for the pinball trap I really liked. It's like you get the whole synopsis explained to you, and then Basil's like, no, this is how it's gonna go. I quite like that scene as well.
It's good choice. Good choice. I feel like for like a crazy nihilistic sort of like a villain, I guess he just had too many options for like violence, and it's like I might as well try to do all the violence.
I think why I sort of took to him as a villain is he came across as a real Bond villain. like it's always a way of like you could easily kill him, but I'm going to go for an elaborate kill instead and not watch either.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, but you made it into more like.
Hang on,
Austin
that's
Powers.
a good point.
What?
I've always made that point.
What point?
That it's really stupid to like set him up for an elaborate kill and then fuck off and not look at it. Continually make that point and I get met with it's arrogant. It's fine. They're arrogant. That's why they do it. Ratigan's very arrogant.
He is indeed. You know
Yeah,
what? You know what it reminds me of
Now it's a good
as
point.
well.
it's a good point, but it shows his crazy nihilistic arrogance. That's what I said.
He is a very arrogant character, but I do love it. I love it.
But you know what?
Is
It reminds me of-
nihilistic not the right word? I guess it would.
No, I don't think nihilistic is the right word you're after.
No.
Oh, I guess that probably isn't. I guess it's just he's kind of insane and egotistical. I guess probably is right.
It's narcissistic.
Oh yeah, that's it. Probably yes. Yeah.
Well, he's got a pressing engagement, so like.
Oh yes.
It is somewhat justified that he has to be somewhere else. You think he could take 3 minutes and, just watch it happen.
Yeah.
But yeah,
He kind of reminds me of like the Batman 66 villain from the Adam West show. That to me, he would do this crazy Bondian scheme and kind of contraption.
Well, I think as well he's
just
got
for
a
the
bit of a
lols.
reputation to maintain.
Yeah.
And he's got a he's the mind behind the Big Ben caper. He's got a laundry list of very clever things he's done. So if he was to just shoot him in the gut, it's like, oh, how did you beat Basil again? And he's like, shot him in the gut. And it's like, it's not something he'd find particularly enticing. I think there's actually more reasoning behind Ratigan doing this than a lot of other villains doing this. Ironically.
I mean, I guess he's already made the song and it's already put it onto like a disc. So it's kind of like
he's already recorded the song.
Yeah, and it's like if I don't use it, it's kind of pointless, right? It's like I would be like,
if I shoot him in the gut and I've not got the record player ready, that was just 10 minutes wasted. His time is very valuable. There's genuinely more reason for him to act like a Bond villain than most Bond villains.
yes.
It's still stupid, but
So
what are you saying? What are you saying back there? You fucking. He's not.
So how about you, Emmanuel? What did you think? What were your favorite scenes in these movies?
So I was thinking about it, and so the detective one.
If you say the Statue of Liberty winking, I'm gonna go crazy.
No, I don't actually get that. I said before, I don't understand why it's winking. It doesn't make sense unless I've missed something. I might have missed something. Unless someone can explain it. No one can explain it. Okay.
I mean, I think I kind of can explain it, but it's just like it doesn't. I don't know. I'll explain. I'll try to explain it in a second. It's like it's the words that Henri uses like throughout the film when he talks to Fievel, where he first meets him and he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to use a French accent because I can't really do a French accent." He's like, "Oh, hello, my little immigrant."
Hello,
That's
my
how
little
I-
immigrant.
Yes,
I'm going to France tomorrow. That's my French accent.
But then afterwards,
All right, Emmanuel. Fuck you.
I wasn't making faces at you guys.
But
I was making faces
afterwards,
at someone else.
when he's like, when it's near the end of the story, he goes, that's more of America, and you have plenty of time to see it, my little American. That's how it that's kind of how it like changes like for the story, because he was at the as the beginning story, he's like, he's the young immigrant, and now he's a young American. And that's why the Statue of Liberty winks at him, because he's now an American, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. Kind of is like that, I think.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, random enough to be in a cartoon as well. Cool, makes sense. Cool, thanks. Yeah, thank you. I was gonna say sorry, so tired. The Basil thingy. So the Sherlock film. There were two particular scenes. So I can't pick one. That's just three things for different reasons. One, when he finally stops moping and self-loathing, when they're caught in the mousetrap, and not caught, but tied the mousetrap, and then he just does all these calculations. It's just like, oh, okay, cool. And then it's just like, yeah, we'll be fine. Do it now. Okay, cool. Oh, great. And I'm just like, yeah, you can do a lot when you're not just self-loathing like yourself. I liked when he started cussing the rat through the queen's puppet, like puppet toy body. That was quite funny. Just like, no, you are in fact like a dick, basically.
Considered Ratico that you are in fact a dick.
And in terms of an animation point of view, I liked when the doll fell over. I thought that's quite cool and also slightly creepy. I thought that was a kind of cool effect. How they had that doll kind of fall at them when Dawson and Basil were going through the story. With the American Tail film, I think my favorite scene is the one where the giant mouse of Minkus? What's
Minsk.
it again?
Minsk, the place.
It's a place in Russia. It's called Minsk.
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 M-I-N-S-K.
The giant mouse.
That's not in
of
Russia
Minsk.
anymore, though, is it?
Is
Isn't it
President?
Belarus or something?
It might be a province around there,
You went
possibly.
there, didn't you?
Huh?
You went to Belarus, didn't you?
Yeah,
No, he didn't.
beautiful place.
Sorry, yeah, Minsk.
But yeah, that scene was it was fun. They just kept shooting all these fireworks at the cats, and then jumped out when it was time. It's just like, yeah, they can't swim. Ah. And then even just going on from that, you got the cockroach. You're like, he's like counting and Was he counting in Mandarin?
Yes, he was. He
Yeah.
actually, which is the point.
And can I just say, like, props to him
Wait.
because they're going on the boat bound for China, and they're like, we'd better assimilate. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah. Fair enough.
It's like cool. I was just like, wait, nah, he ain't actually counting. He is. He's kind of Mandarin. I mean, that's a cool, nice touch for an animated film in English. Didn't have to, but it was kind of cool.
Oh no,
As a-
you
Oh, you go.
no, I was gonna say I think it made sense for the film because it has, obviously a lot of people who are immigrants to speak different languages in the film. I was like, oh, maybe as well just like, obviously if they're going to someone else's country, maybe they should learn the language. I was thinking, oh yeah, that kind of makes,
Yeah.
it made sense to me.
It does. It's a nice little touch. I'm sure I have forgotten something or missed something, but I want to ask, what's the kind of thing where the cockroach keeps having that kind of electric thing between its feelers and antenna?
Static?
What's static?
Static?
I
I
was
don't-
thinking. I assumed there was something to refer to like a cockroach's actual traits, or how they kind of sense things, but I do not remember it. I'm
Okay,
No,
thinking
that's-
about
I
that.
think it was just like him just being like excited and him just like reacting to the environment. And it's kind of like his antenna are like antenna from a TV aerial kind of thing.
Yeah, I thought it was because he hit a light bulb on it. His head hit a light bulb and just got shot through the antenna. So that's probably what it was. It's like the those sort of cartoon sort of jokes, I guess.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
All right. So let's see who else hasn't done favorite scenes. Or is it just me?
Me.
Ah, yes, Alec. What was your favorite scenes?
For Basil, I think, kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier, it's the scene that used to scare the absolute fucking piss out of me as a kid. It's when Ratigan goes a little bit feral and he's running through, and I'm actually like, where it used to scare me, I'm now kind of like, can't wait for that fucking bit. That fucking bit's amazing. I can't wait. Like, I think that's a really cool little sequence. And I think, like, considering what you've seen of Ratigan before, where he's like nearly having a heart attack to like divert himself from from like losing temper, seeing him just let loose, I'm just like, yeah, that this means a lot more now. I can tell he's really just getting fucking mad. He's losing his composure a bit. I like all that. I think that's really nice. American Tail, I think it's when the Statue of Liberty winks at Fievel. I think that's cinema. But for real life, it's not that bad. No, honestly, it's
It's the Statue of Liberty.
seriously though, it is a Statue of Liberty. No, it's I think it was actually the bit where I felt like you actually, because I started feeling a bit teary. And I was like, fuck you, Rob. Because yeah, when his dad actually like is he realizes that because like there's been like this whole thing of like he's not accepting that Fievel might be alive. It's too painful of a thought for him. And just when I'm grand. Thank you, Camille. I'm just getting a bit teary. Like when he actually is coming to accept that Fievel actually is alive, and he's like running toward him, and then he finally gets reunited and everything. I just yeah, that was a fucking big moment, and I was just very feelingsy right there. I did just have another one though. Oh, there's lots of little good bits. I like the Duchess kind of coming in, and she's like, "We need to make a Wowie." And Honest
Oh,
John's
that's brilliant. Yeah.
like, "Wowie?" She's like, "A Wowie." It's like, what are you talking about? He's like, when people all come together for a common goal, and he's like, "Oh, a rally," and she's like, "That's what I said, a Wowie."
That is brilliant. That's that.
Yeah,
That's that
shit
Martin
in.
Scorsese meme where he's like, to me, that's cinema.
Oh, man. To add to what you were saying, Alec, the scene where they meet each other, I did like how they missed each other and then came back. It wasn't the classic just straight run into each other's arms.
Yeah.
It was a messy, more realistic kind of thing, which I say more realistic. It was a kind of messy one, which was nice. Good touch.
It is like, you know, I've had like encounters where I've not seen someone for like a while, and we like run up and hug each other, and then we've like actually like smacked down kneecaps against each other. And we've both just gone like, "Fuck!" It's like, yeah, you know, reunions can be awkward. I also really appreciated the little sequence where they're all doing songs about um why they've left their countries and stuff. I thought that was really nice. Just I don't know how much geographical sense it might. Oh no, they were going to Germany. Yeah, that's fair. But sorry, I just had to look at my map for that one. But I really appreciated sort of like the different musical styles and stuff, and like you can instantly just. I think if you did this in like the modern day, you'd go like, oh, stereotypical Italian, stereotypical Irish person, and I'm just like, like I kind of like that they're all coming from different places, and everyone's just very accepting of everything that's been happening and that, and they're all just kind of sharing their stories, and they're coming together in the hope that there are no cats in America. I thought that was a really cool little sequence too. But for real, it's the Statue of Liberty. Go on, Si. You can do it.
So, for American Tail, favorite scenes is the musical scenes, not going to not There Are No Cats in America. Funny enough, the scene where they're actually singing Somewhere Out There is actually a lot more popular than I realized. Mainly because I have like relatives from like and my sister-in-law who like from Hong Kong and stuff doesn't really speak English. She heard the song and she was like, "Oh shit, is this where the song is from?" I'm like, "Wait, so you've heard this song before?" "Yeah, lots of times as a kid." I was like, "Oh, fuck! I didn't realize how widespread this movie would have been. Much more like widespread than the Great Master Detective, but I feel I still like the Great Master Detective a bit more. But like that's the Somewhere Out There is probably my favorite like musical scene. But like as like the actual like favorite scene just to see as like as in like when they meet as like when we just see like as a story point, I feel like it is definitely when Fightful meets Papa again. And that scene is always it's something special about it, right? Because just seeing them go, Papa, and he goes, "Oh, Fightful," and it's just like, and it just repeats, and it just like, it's so sweet. It just like, I feel like I might just get type 2 diabetes. That's how sweet it is. It's like that's how sweet it is, and it's so nice. It's so good. It's so good. Just so it's so happy, and it gives it such a warm feeling. And it's just like, yeah, I need this. For Basil, for the Great Master Detective, I feel like it's I mean the Big Ben scene with Vatican and like the fight, it's great and all. I think I still prefer like the chase scene in the toy shop a little bit more. I feel like there's like it's a different sort of like action scene. I guess one is well, they both start off as kind of like chase scenes, but I guess it's kind of like the action points were like it was for the Big Ben scene. It was a chase scene into a fight scene, where it was a when with the toy store it was a mystery jump scare, then a chase scene, and afterwards that's kind of like I feel like that was a bit more. It got you into like the atmosphere first because it had the mysteriousness. Then afterwards, like the toys start moving around and playing, and afterwards, Fidget. It's the same jump. It's the same scene with when Fidget grabs the father, but this time he's wearing a bonnet. Obviously, as an adult, it's funnier for me now. But like when you was a kid, it's like, holy shit, that's terrifying. But as an adult, you guys go, oh, he's wearing a fucking bonnet. I didn't believe I was scared of this as a kid. I was like, yeah, sure.
That's why I like Fidget though. He's willing to he's willing to kind of embarrass himself a bit.
Yes. But yeah, but then after it starts, then it becomes the chase scene with like where Fidget has to wind up like night toy, like chase after Dawson. And afterwards, you have Basil like on that like spring horse toy thing to chase after Fidget when it's like climbing up the mountain of toys. I think that scene is very well animated, and I think that has like it's very and it captures like sort of like the story of where it will go, and because ultimately he doesn't catch Fidget, but it's obviously sort of like lower point because he's like upset with Dawson, and afterwards you see him be like, you see Dawson be really upset, and he's like, don't worry, we'll get her back. And it's like, oh, it's also a very sweet sort of scene, and it gives like so like character developments, and I'm thinking, yeah, that's nice because even though he's so angry that he lost his like he lost the chase, but he's still going, we'll get her back still. And I think, yeah, that's nice. I think that's probably like my favorite scenes.
Yeah, it's also
Nice.
very much like Sherlock and Watson themselves, like him realizing, actually, I kind of like his companionship. It's kind of nice. Oh, maybe I should do something. It's probably not good if he stays like that.
Yeah.
It's the crinkly crisps.
Yeah. So yeah, that's So yeah, so it's feel like all in all, talking about these two films, they're both pretty well made films, especially during that time and that and what their budgets were. I think American Tail had slightly less budget than obviously Disney, but it's still very well made films, and they still hold up quite well to the modern day, where everything else is pure CGI nowadays. I feel like there hasn't been a 2D animated film for whatever. I can't remember the last two.
They 2D animated films get made. They just don't get distributed very much, so you don't see a lot of them.
Can't
they're still
think
about.
of one. I can't really think of one that's made by Disney or like a big studio.
Well, it depends what you class as a big studio, because The Boy and the Heron's coming out soon.
I was gonna say that wasn't anime, but then afterwards you do have a point with that. Yeah, I guess that's true. Because if it's just like 2D...
Japanese for animation.
Okay, fair enough. But like What? There's no there's no Western studios that have made 2D animated films lately. Or I can't think of
Yeah.
one.
To be fair, the last 2D animated film that I can think of that got released was Unicorn Wars, and that was like some little Spanish studio.
What the fuck is Unicorn Wars?
Oh, it's in the fucking name, innit? It's wars between unicorns.
Do you know what they marketed it as the Bible meets My Little Pony, but it wasn't really.
What the fuck? Okay. Okay, there's a.
I just want to say, Basil had 5 million more than Fievel did.
That's quite a lot.
Is that budget or profit?
Budget.
Rich.
No, budget.
You know what, though? I think Princess and the Frog was the last Disney animated film, right? I could be wrong, but I think that's.
Was it really?
No.
Yeah.
It was
The
Lion
question
King
is-
2019.
Oh yeah, we don't even know what that is.
The,
That was
the
a
question. The
secret.
question is.
2D
The
animation.
question is. What is the budget compared to Shark Boy and Lava Girl?
Oh, Shark Boy and Lava Girl had 50 million. So
Oh.
Basil had 14 million.
Wow,
American Tail had 9 million.
that's mad. That's so these two combined was less than half of Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
If it wasn't for Ready Player One, Shark Boy and Lava Girl would still be your most expensive film.
Oh yeah, didn't you say I beat Rob for budget as well for films?
And the mad
Oh.
thing is, even with my pick tonight, you're still going to have a higher cumulative budget than I will.
Oh. Okay, yeah, then I guess we should move on to the point of that.
To be
What-
fair though, I am missing a lot of Emmanuel budget.
Yeah, it's hard to get Japanese budgets for some reason.
Just don't publish them very much. Actually, I'm missing a lot of yours as well, Simon.
Oh,
Well, that's
yeah. I mean, really,
So
if you really want,
I'm actually missing 3 budgets out of your 15 picks, and you've got more than Rob's 27 picks.
yeah, but like I picked one of I picked a Johnny Depp film. That's always going to be a very expensive film. Then
I
I
picked a
picked it.
Pixar film.
oh yeah, you did, didn't you? Fuck, never mind. Okay, that I was gonna say I picked a Tom Cruise film, but then afterwards you said yeah, but Pixar. Yeah, that's true.
Would you like a little snapshot of where we're at currently?
Yeah, I would.
Go on.
Okay, so we are currently at 5,674,800 million.
And that's just my films.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's half of that. Half of that. Yeah.
It's just like
that's
2
it.
David Cameron movies.
Well, that is it. That is every pick together.
James Cameron.
My next
Emmanuel-
film has 45 million budget.
Fuck's sake.
Get to there.
Em- Emmanuel-
Wait, is it
Emmanuel-
what you said you were going to pick the other day?
Yeah,
That was 45 million.
yeah.
Wow, that's mad.
Anyway, before I was so rudely interrupted, Emmanuel has 367.2 million as his average over 20 picks ish. His average is like 15.9 million. Rob is next, so he is next from bottom with 621.9 million. His average is 23 million. He's got the maximum amount of picks you can have. Simon is next, missing 3 budgets. 642.2 million.
Wow.
That's 20 million more. His average is 42.8 million. Okay, so Rob's is 23 million. Simon's is 42.8 million. Next is Ben, who's got the maximum also. 733.4 million. His average is 27.1 million. So much less than Simon's. I'm next with 888.9 million, and my average is 32.9, still lower than Simon's average, with half the films I have. Patrick has 1,236,500 million, and his average is 45.7 million.
Mr.
Wow.
Billionaire, yeah.
He accounts for about a fifth of our cumulative budget by himself.
So I'm basically hitting my average in my next pick.
Look,
Yeah, you genuinely will be hitting your average of 4.5.
look, Pat, just don't pick Titanic and Avatar. You'll be fine.
Well, don't worry, I'll never ever pick Titanic.
Yeah,
don't
John
like
was
that film.
threatening it for a while.
I was really hoping you were going to go, I'll never pick Avatar. And I was like, yay.
Avatar isn't anywhere near being picked. It may be picked one day though.
That sums up Avatar.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would never intentionally watch Avatar, but I may one day.
There's something about unobtainium, you know. I don't know. Yeah.
Simon,
All right.
Don't get me started on unobtainium, mate. Don't get me started. I've been in a horrible position with that.
Okay.
Do you know that one?
What?
I'm drunk now, so I'll just tell you what the story is. I went to see Avatar with my dad because he's a big sci-fi nerd, and we were in the cinema, and we are in the main sort of middle of the theater, and we are in the absolute middle of the theater. So there's like about 10 people either side of both of us,
Uh-huh.
and the unobtainium line gets said, and as Giovanni Ribisi says, this is what we're here for, all right? Unobtainium. My dad goes,
But Alex doesn't care.
Oh,
I'm
Christ.
going to Italy through, but they're fine.
Okay. All right. Well, on that note,
I just
Rob,
wanted you to live that moment for me. That's how loud it fucking was.
okay. On that note and on that bombshell. So, Rob, what was that? What was your choice for this film? For your film?
So my choice this week. So last year, when Ben did An American Werewolf in London, I really liked the idea of that continuing as a tradition. So like it was a week before Halloween, and it was like a light-hearted sort of like comedy horror to kind of like set the season. And I like the idea of that continuing. So
Here we go.
I'll see if I can find it.
He's got it located on his fucking massive shelf.
So my pick, continuing from Ben's lead, where we're going to go for like the classic monsters, and it's light-hearted, and it's just a nice little lead into Halloween. My pick is The Lost Boys.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Yeah, boy.
Okay.
You lied to me.
Rob,
What?
Okay.
Hey, when did I lie to you?
Right at the start of the stream.
Why was that?
I said, are you picking your next one? And you said, no, that's 2 picks away.
If you're next,
And I
not
said-
again.
Are you picking Lost Boys? And you said, no, that's...
When did you say that?
I said, is it Lost Boys? After you said it wasn't the first one.
Did you explicitly say is
Not
it
the
Lost
first
Boys?
one.
I said Lost Boys, question mark.
Oh, where did you say? Oh, did you send me a message that said that?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't look at that.
Oh, there's 3 Lost Boys films. So, Emmanuel, it's just the first Lost Boys, right?
Yeah, no, not two lost two boys.
It's called Lost Boys
Two
with
lost, two
Tribe.
boys.
And Lost Boys Tokyo Drift.
So the other
And
2
other-
Lost Boys, I wouldn't
Alright,
recommend going anywhere near them. It's very much like a one and done.
The third one's called Lost Boys 3, the first. And I'm like, oh, just fucking,
First one.
oh.
and you complain about Fast and Furious names.
Yeah, no, I think once you watch Lost Boys, you'll be like, yeah, they there was no need to make more of these.
Yeah.
Was it
But,
Lost Boys
Em-
or The Lost Boys?
Hmm?
Is it Lost Boys or The Lost Boys?
The Lost Boys.
Maybe they should make Lost
The-
nice.
The Lost Boys.
Lost Boys 2, Lost Boys 0.
Or it
Lost
could just be
Cats.
The Boys, which is on Amazon, which is where I'm looking at it now.
Or it could be Lost, which is also
Oh
on Amazon.
man, The
Yeah.
Boys is
Yeah,
amazing.
This
Oh,
is
I wouldn't
a
mind
team-up
watching through
movie.
Lost again.
Lost
Oh
and
yeah,
What?
Lost as well. Yeah, yeah. I
Is it
just
you want to
finished
like
season one.
all of the series? All
Yeah,
that. All...
I loved that series.
yeah, boy.
Did you like the ending as well? I'll ask you.
No, it was shit.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. That's what I'll say. If you like the
Like
ending,
so
I was
many-
just like,
This is my issues with TV series. Like, there's very few that have a good ending. Look at Game of Thrones. Look at fucking Dexter.
I didn't realise Dexter had ended.
Well, it,
Oh,
Dexter ended,
that
and
hasn't
it
now
was shit,
because
and then it ended again, and it was shit again.
the only thing that I know has a pretty good ending is The Good Place. That's about it. The Good Place actually has a decent ending to me.
Breaking Bad has a great ending.
I was about to
Oh,
say.
are you including like the extra like
No,
special? Or,
I'm talking
no,
about the TV series.
okay.
That was
Although-
brilliant. Like, you didn't even have to finish what you were saying, and Pat was like, "No, I'm not including that."
Okay.
I like the
No,
film, but
that's still good,
just-
but yeah,
that's
it
El
doesn't
just
count.
separate.
Camino's very funny because you kind of have flashbacks where everyone just gets fatter for some reason, and then you watch it back and everyone's thinner again.
Supernatural's another one that has a good ending. If you like that series, anyway.
Which
Sorry,
one?
Simon. Supernatural.
I've not watched it. It's on my list though.
What was it,
Yeah.
Manuel?
What does your shirt say? Hello.
Oh, it's instead of Hello Panda like the cookie, it's just Hello Death, and they're like and it's just like chocolate skulls. Wait, can I?
Oh man, that's
That was
great.
brilliant. That delivery on that was perfect.
I was thinking, I was like, wait, it doesn't quite say the panda thing. I'm just like, wait, what is that saying? That's great.
Oh, this is a Joel Schumacher film.
Yeah, which inducts Joel Schumacher into our recurring directors.
What
Yeah.
was the other one that was picked?
Falling down.
Oh,
Oh man, that film.
Down falling.
oh, this has already put Emmanuel off.
Yeah,
No,
but did
listen,
Emmanuel
what
hate it more than Alec? I can't remember.
Hmm?
Who liked Falling Down more, Emmanuel or Alec?
That's a funny
Off the
way to
top
put that.
when I'm looking at directors on like Amazon, right, for Joel Schumacher, one of his top films that it says there is Batman and Robin, the 1997 one. I'm like, is that really what you want on like near the top of the list? Fucking
Yeah, Batman and Robin was the best film of the first 12.
Oh,
To
my
be
goodness.
fair though, like that's so. Yeah, I think that's the kind of thing that Joel Schumacher's good at. It's just like super camp nonsense.
Also, Ben,
Mm,
Yeah.
Emmanuel liked it 0.2 points less than I did.
Oh, interesting.
I gave it a 3. He gave it a 2.8.
Oh man.
Damn.
Oh man,
Oh, Emmanuel's least favourite films.
I was
that
like,
guy was so annoying.
I remember going like, I think that was fine. I've maybe gone a bit harsh, but I feel like harshness was needed. And then Emmanuel just blew me out of water.
He fell.
Yeah.
He fell down.
I do.
I distinctly remember that as well because like I think that
you're wearing the wrong
that was the
shoes.
same round as Antichrist. So like we'd had. Hang on. That was like a
the
really
same
fun
round. Oh man, falling down after Antichrist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on. That was actually such a chaotic round, actually, because I just last round I just picked Blues Brothers, and then Pat had picked Goodfellas, and then we just did that again, and so I got to pick Dread, which I didn't realize was like as camp as it was when I picked it, and then Pat picked Pulp Fiction. And then Humphrey picked Fifth Element. So we had like 8.3, 9.2, 8.6, and then Ben picked Falling Down. And then Emmanuel picked Antichrist. And then John picked About Time. And then Rob had like his first flop. Because he picked Fisher King.
Oh.
It just
Fisher
went.
King was
It's a roller
actually
Wait, Pat,
Fisher
did you
King
pick
was great.
Goodfellas?
Huh?
You picked Goodfellas? I thought that was the
Yeah.
Ben pick for some reason.
No, that was
Okay.
me.
Did he
I
pick
have to
what?
say Fisher King was great, and I think I probably gave my nomination point to it at the time. I thought that was underrated.
It definitely was.
I feel like I haven't watched Fisher King, and I don't feel like watching it. There's so many films on your guys' list that I need to watch. Like I haven't watched Antichrist yet, and I can't really justify just going. Okay, I'm gonna watch Antichrist. Then I'm gonna watch what's the other film? That John
Love
picked.
Exposure.
Love Exposure. I was like, I can't. I really want to watch them, but I don't want to watch them.
That was the pick that killed John the first time.
Did you
Um,
say that John picked Love Exposure?
Did he not?
No, it was
No,
Emmanuel.
that was me. Yeah.
It's become a meme that John needs to watch it because that was the film that peaked his downfall.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
I
Oh,
was
sorry.
just like, oh, John, you would like this, and then he just never watched it.
That's the tragic thing. It's such a him film.
Yeah,
Emmanuel, I can confirm that you did not give your nomination point to Fisher King. You gave your nomination
No.
point to Pulp Fiction.
Boo.
Boo.
Well, fair enough. It is a classic.
Boo.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Conversely, I gave my nomination point to Antichrist.
Thank you. I
God,
mean, I don't
see,
really.
Pat was
I
just
don't-
channeling the Doberman there. Just
To be honest, I probably didn't even really care too much. I was just like, yeah, I just wanted to like have you guys experience what I did. Anyway,
it was only your second round, and I remember you'd picked Memories of Murder, and all I didn't know you that well yet. And then your first pick was Memories of Murder, and I was like, that was fucking bizarre. Okay, what's he going to pick for his next one? And then I was just kind of like, yeah, he's Christian, he's this, he's that. And then you're just like, Antichrist is my next film. And I was like, shit me. All right, let's do it. This guy's fucking weird as fuck.
and lots of fun picks afterwards.
Sunshine, The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl, The Tale of Two Sisters, Mother, Love Exposure, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo,
Oh, good.
Let the Right One In, The Quiet Family. That's when I had the fire at my house. I remember because I was trying to get Eb to fall asleep, and I was like, this will work, don't worry about it. And I put The Quiet Family on, and she was gone in 5 minutes. Your Name, which was when you got married. Capernaum, where we all just fucking lost the will to live. American Psycho. And then your double bill was Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. We had none. And then Lady Vengeance, which was quite good. And then Funny Face. And then Phoenix, The Skin I Live In, Ready Player One, Drive My Car, Amores Perros, Spirited Away, You Resemble Me, and Odd Taxi in the Woods. That brings us up to modern day.
Actually, Pat, did you get The Skin I Live on Blu-ray, or did you just get it on DVD?
Blu-ray.
Okay.
Oh, of all the things I wouldn't want in Blu-ray.
Yeah. I just, everyone kind of liked it. I know, but Pat really fucking liked it, and I was like, okay. I mean, what's your choice? I didn't realize you
So
could.
the thing is, when I collect stuff now, if I can get on Blu-ray, I'll get it on Blu-ray. I prefer not to have DVD, but like sometimes they don't release the better version. So
I was so excited when you picked The Skin I Live In, because Eb had been telling me about this absolutely bizarre Spanish film she'd seen with Antonio Banderas, and I was like, that sounds fucking crazy, man. And then you actually picked it, and I looked at the poster and I went, it's that fucking film.
Yep. Well,
I
Was
remember
also-
her telling me about it on the way to Emmanuel's wedding, and I was like, this sounds crazy. I really need to watch it at some point. And then when Emmanuel picked it, I was like, damn, this is a great film.
I didn't realise I watched it already beforehand, and I was like, "Oh, it's this film that he's doing." Fucking hell.
There's a reason you forgot it.
Yeah, it's really Christ. Anyways,
I'm gonna have to go to bed because I've got work in the morning.
all right, yeah, same here.
Well, I won't see you guys next week, so have fun with Lost Boys.
And Rob,
That
I'll see you
sounded-
Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, man. See you Tuesday.
See you later.
Take care.
See you.
Later
man.
on.
Okay,
Love you guys. Bye bye.
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 Okay, bye.